Ah, the age-old debate. Are turn-based games actually any good? This question pops up every once in a while, to the point that it seemed like the whole genre seemed to fall out of fashion in favor of more action-based gameplay styles. For a while, these types of games would be kept to the niche markets and nostalgia bros for the foreseeable future, without any wider mainstream appeal that it once enjoyed. Now, with the likes of Clair Obscur sweeping the Game Awards, people are starting to ask, well, hang on a minute, how did this happen? We thought people didn't even like these kinds of games anymore. I mean, that's kind of what I thought too. So let's dive in and examine that question a bit closer to see why turn-based games seem to make such a massive comeback. Now let me be clear, when I use the term turn-based, I'm not referring to just any old top-down strategy game that happens to exist with turns between enemy and player. There's a million of those, and plenty of them are good and all, but that's not what I mean. I'm primarily talking about RPGs here, so let's not get it twisted. To start, I think a lot of their success comes down to a few separate factors. For one, turn-based gameplay appeals to a part of the player's brain that yearns to hit that perfect turn. There's nothing more satisfying than setting up your party of adventurers in a certain way and then absolutely decimating enemies in a single flawless run. It scratches that monkey brain itch to watch all your careful planning work out in a way you'd hoped, or even in a way you didn't, but still managed to win out. Also, it adds elements of uncertainty when you're not yet familiar with what you're facing that drives up tension. You may think you have it all figured out, only for the boss to whip out some crazy special attack that you've never seen before and forces you to adapt. In most action-based games, it's easy enough to just dodge or block or whatever, but in turn-based games, you have to commit to whatever your action is and pray you can weather the storm that's about to hit you. It makes difficulty an ebb and flow, and sometimes even allows you to negate certain issues if you prepare enough in advance. Now, I hear some people say, well, all these games are the same, boring. There's no variety. Well, maybe you're boring, hypothetical viewer. Just like any genre of game, there's tons of different styles of turn-based combat that each have their own unique twist on the familiar formula that we all know from those olden days. Take, for example, the Bravely Default series. It has an almost classic approach to its combat, complete with job classes a la the original Final Fantasy games. But it switches things up with its Brave and Default mechanics, allowing you to save or stack up your number of attacks to the point where you can just unload on enemies over and over in a sort of risk-reward system. And this system isn't even exclusive to the player, the enemies can use it too, meaning certain bosses can just wail on you if you're not careful and wipe your whole party out in one turn. It's all about finding the right balance between caution and greed. Another great example would be the first two Paper Mario games. Very simple on their surface, but the different combination of badges can lead to wildly different builds that focus on entirely different attack types, or simply maximizing damage output. Like you can stack badge after badge to get anywhere from your typical 3 damage, all the way up to 7, just for Mario's regular attacks, no FP required. And of course, SMT is practically famous for its press turn system, whereby you can extend your turn by attacking weaknesses or getting sick critical hits. It incentivizes you to know your enemy, just like Sun Tzu said, except with less wisdom and more demon summoning. And Metaphor Fantasio, which I like to consider SMT adjacent, even has its own version of a job system, allowing you to freely mix and match your favorite characters with your favorite archetypes, giving you tons of freedom to explore different team synergies and builds. Or you can just do a team of 4 merchants and get tons of criticals, that works too. And Clair Obscur was able to incorporate more active elements into their combat, allowing you to dodge, parry, and even target specific weak points with each character's long-range attacks. It's a more modern style to the usual I attack, now you attack turn system that I think has really caught on. And some of these compilations I've seen of people parrying every attack flawlessly definitely makes me wish I had that kind of timing. Alas, I do not. Long story short, I think those who downplay the whole genre are missing out on tons of different playstyles and variety that might even be up their alley if they gave some of these games a shot. But the gameplay is only part of the puzzle that makes a lot of these titles a classic and keep them part of gaming history. We don't just like them because they're fun to play, we like them because, in many cases, some of these games have memorable stories that resonate with us. Some of the best stories and games I've ever experienced have come from this genre, and I don't think that's coincidence. In a way, I think it's almost intrinsic to the makeup of these RPGs that they need to keep us hooked in not just our minds, but in our souls too. Would Claire Obscure have won all those awards if it didn't capture our hearts in that intro? I seriously doubt it. I still get chills. The same is true for the Final Fantasy games. When I first played FF9 back in the day, I had no idea the existential questions they could present with a cute little sorcerer or everybody's favorite trickster monkey boy. Stuff like identity, our places in the world, love, all told through a story that on the surface seems cartoonish and strange, yet draws you in and makes you feel something for these characters. And what about Persona? Nobody knew when Persona 3 first came out how hard it could hit us. We thought it would be just about a bunch of high schoolers dealing with this weird other world they traveled into every night, only for it to evolve into a question about why their lives are worth living and why they keep going even despite what is said to be certain death. It's powerful and thought-provoking, and each character has to come to their own answer. See what I did there? Answer? Nailed it. And I think really that's why this whole genre has survived the way it has and made such a comeback. It's created and sustained by developers who want to give us thought-provoking ideas, not just to play, but to feel. The Claire Obscure team has themselves made it no secret that they were inspired by the likes of Final Fantasy, and it shows, right down to the heart they poured into it. I know these kinds of games are not everyone's cup of tea, but I also firmly believe that if they gave some of these games a real shot instead of writing them off, they might be pleasantly surprised by how much they vibe with them. There's a reason so many of these are considered gaming classics, and it's no accident. It's because they really are some of the best titles on offer, and the resurgence of their popularity only makes me hopeful for even more turn-based goodness in the future. Hell, maybe someday devs will be inspired by Expedition 33 and continue the cycle. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, my name is Caleb for FuzzPod Gaming, and I'm gonna go play some more Expedition 33. Catch you next time.